Guys, I know how it feels. Your players haven't been performing, or maybe they're injured. Maybe they're not playing up to par, up to the ADP, up to where you drafted them in the offseason. I know that urge, man. You want to trade them away as soon as you can so that you can just rinse your hands of them, rid your team of them, and move on. In this video, we're going to talk about four guys, bro. Four guys that I'm a little bit panicked about. We're going to talk about their situation and whether I would trade them away, whether I would hold them. Let's get into this video, man. The first guy I have on this list is Garrett Wilson. Now, Garrett Wilson's been great, bro. The last couple weeks, he's been really good. He's the most targeted wide receiver in the NFL in 2024. So this is kind of this is really down to circumstance, bro. It comes to the context of what's happening. So Davante Adams gets traded to the Jets. We have a reunion of Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, or I'm sorry, Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams. Besties are back together, bro. I think this is bad news for Garrett Wilson. Anybody who thinks it's not bad news, I think it's copium. I think it's cope. Just keep in mind, bro. Adams and Rodgers, not only are they close personally as friends, they had a professional connection that was second to none. Probably the best fantasy stack in the last 10 years. So with that in mind, bro, I think Garrett Wilson's volume is not only going to decrease, but his end zone targets are going to decrease. Like the quality of the targets that he's getting is going to decrease. I do think he takes a back seat to this Adams Rodgers connection. Now, of course, anything can happen, bro. It could be like Devontae is like, yo, I'll be Yoda, you be Luke Skywalker. I'll teach, I'll be the guy that takes the double teams. You could be the guy who, works the intermediate underneath routes. The thing is, the problem, the reason I have him on this panic list is because of the unknown, because we don't know what's going to happen. That represents an opportunity for us to sell him now before anything happens. Now that's risky, right? So what if in this next game against Pittsburgh, fucking Davante Adams is getting Fitzpatrick, right? Minka Fitzpatrick defending him, or sorry, Porter Jr. is defending him, and Porter is covering Davante Adams, and that gives Garrett Wilson a lot of easy coverage, right? It could be Garrett Wilson that profits and benefits. Maybe he pops off for another 20 fantasy points, and then you're going to be sad that you sold him, right? You're going to be like, fuck, man, I should have sold him after that game that he popped off. So my idea of what I would do with him if I had him is I would sell him now. If you can sell him high, if you're a team in a good position where you're like, 5-1, 4-2, whatever the case may be, see if you could trade Garrett Wilson now to a team who is also in a good position, maybe lacking some big name wide receivers on their team, and they want the upside of having like an Aaron Rodgers wide receiver. Maybe you can peddle him for like a dude who maybe seems like a downgrade, right? Like if you could get like Jalen Waddle plus a piece, like a good, RB2, RB3, like a Chase Brown type player, plus like a Jalen Waddle, who everybody's pretty down on Jalen Waddle, but we do have Tua coming back in a week. So that's the type of trade that I want to make. And it's a type of trade that I think you can actually get done, is the reason why I listed a dude like Jalen Waddle. Like, I could sit here and say fucking CeeDee Lamb and Jamar Chase, but that's not going to happen, right? Nobody's going to make that trade. So next on the list is Brandon Aiyuk. Now, Brandon Aiyuk is a mainstay on this motherfucking channel, dude. I always have Brandon Aiyuk as a trade away, sell high, sell low, sell medium. Fucking whatever, dude. Drop him off at the side of the road, with his little bag of clothes. Like, get him off your team, because Brandon Aiyuk is the definition of bust. Boom, boom, like whisper, boom, and bust. Boom or bust. Boom or bust. The games he booms is 18 fantasy points. Doesn't get into the end zone. Now, don't get me wrong. I know Brandon Aiyuk is capable of having like huge games, like 2 touchdown, like 25 fantasy point games. It's definitely possible. It's just something that we don't want to bank on, right? We don't want to put our money on that, because I just think the 49ers offense is a little bit too spread. It's too unclear who's going to pop off any given week. Seems like Debo is probably the safest wide receiver on this team. And like really the offense kind of runs around Kittle and Debo and whoever the running back is. So Brandon Aiyuk is somebody that if you could still sell him off of the name value that he has, I would definitely try to do it. Just get somebody who's a little bit more stable, somebody like a DJ Moore, like a DK Metcalf even, who's been pretty bad lately. That's a potential, buy low candidate. It's just I trust DK Metcalf more because he's been like inches away from huge fantasy days, while Brandon Aiyuk is just, it's not even like he's missing out on plays, right? It's not even like he's been inches away. He just doesn't get enough volume. Like one game, as guys can see here in the game logs, I don't know how well you can see, but like in week 5, he's got 12 targets, and then in week 6, it's 4. And then, week 4, it's 5. And then week 3, it's 10. And then week 2, it's 5. It's just, dude, it's just frustrating having a guy like Aiyuk, having anyone on the 49ers not named Kittle or Debo or whoever the running back is. So see if you could trade him now. As I already mentioned some names who you should be targeting, but next player on the list is James Cook. Now, James Cook is, when healthy, like a top 10 running back. He's been great for us. He had that pop-off week where he scored 3 touchdowns in week 2 against Miami. It was a silo game, so everyone was there to watch it, and everyone saw him pop off. It was early in the season, so that really stuck in people's minds. But James Cook is somebody that this toe injury is kind of concerning to me. Now, here's the reason, right? If it's turf toe, fuck, that's concerning. Probably not turf toe because they would have probably mentioned something about it. It could just be like a toe sprain or like banged his toe super hard against the turf. It was sore. It was bruised. They needed to wait for the swelling to go down. He wasn't able to get on the field this week. It was kind of a toss-up whether he'd play or not. But the reason I'm panicking about James Cook is because of the fact that Ray Davis looked so damn good for them. And I think they've been searching for a dude that they can use in early downs in like short yardage situations. And they were using Cook kind of by default because Cook hasn't been bad at it, right? It's not like Cook's bad. I just think they view Cook as like a weapon running back. And if they want to keep him healthy, it might be in their interest to reduce the amount of short yardage and like workhorse back roll work that he's been getting. Damn, that's a fucking sentence, right? So it's in their interest to use Ray Davis as like that bruiser running back, kind of like a thunder lightning type thing. And I think he proved himself, bro. He had a really good per touch production. He looked really good on tape. He was hitting the holes well. He was slippery. He was, forcing missed tackles. Like, I think it's going to be tough for them to go away from him, right? And I think you should see if you can sell him for like top 10 value now before we see the next week versus Tennessee, where, Tennessee's a tough run defense, bro. But like, it'll be really shitty if that game starts and we see Ray Davis getting early down work. Like, it'll be really shitty. You're gonna be like, "Fuck, dude, I should have sold Cook before it became prominent, or before it became obvious that he's not stuck in like a 1-2 or a 2-man punch." So, I think if you could sell him now early before that happens, that'd be something that I'd be trying to do. If you can swing Cook for dudes like, if you can get Kenneth Walker, that'd be the dream, right? Like, you might have to give up a piece in addition, but yeah, guys like Kenneth Walker, like Brian Robinson plus a piece, because you're kind of tearing down there in the eyes of the Brian Robinson owner potentially. Like, I view Brian Robinson maybe above Cook, to be honest. I don't think I have a reason why. I just really love the Commanders as an offense. I love the opportunities he's been getting. Like, when they get to the goal line, it's like Brian Robinson every time. But this is not a Brian Robinson video, so see what you could do, man. Flip him for like an RB2, maybe get a piece, or for a better RB if you have to give up a piece. That's what I would be doing. Next guy on the list, last guy is Amon-Ra St. Brown. You guys might be thinking, why the fuck is Amon-Ra on here? He's been scoring double digits the past 4 weeks. And I was a little bit concerned, man. In weeks 4, doesn't get a lot of volume, does get the 17 fantasy points, 6 for 45 and a touchdown. You're definitely happy with it. But Amon-Ra, last year, the thing that made him so good was kind of like what he did in week 2, where he had 18 targets, 11 for 119, and then last year he'd also get a touchdown. So he'd get you like a 24 fantasy point game, but unfortunately hasn't really been able to piece it all together where he's getting the volume plus the touchdowns. So weeks 3 through 6 does get a touchdown, but not a lot of volume, not a lot of yardage. The thing is, this Lions team is very balanced now. There's a lot of mouths to feed on this team. Basically, David Montgomery looks like a top 5 running back talent-wise. Jameson Williams has emerged. He's probably one of the better draft picks this season. You got Laporta, dude, who scored like a long touchdown. You got Jared Goff scoring receiving touchdowns the week before, right? Like, it is such a good, well-oiled machine of an offense. And Amon-Ra St. Brown is still viewed by most of the fantasy community as like a top 5 wide receiver. So either this Lions offense is so good, but Amon-Ra will be like the bona fide alpha, like the number 1 guy, or he's overvalued, right? Like, I think it's more of a chance that he's going to be like a good, solid piece in this offense. Very important for them on third downs, a red zone weapon for them when they get into the red zone. They're going to be scoring a lot, so he always has the opportunity to get like a 2-touchdown game any given week. But the reason I have him as a panic player, the reason I think you should sell him, is just that I think his perceived value will not match his actual value. I don't think he's going to have those like Jamar Chase type weeks where he can score like 2 touchdowns and go for 190, right? Like what Jamar Chase did against the Ravens. Now, if you can flip a guy like Amon-Ra St. Brown right now and get a dude like CeeDee Lamb, who's also kind of in the gutters right now, and people might be down on him, down on the Cowboys in general. Maybe if you can do like a 2-for-2 trade where you send St. Brown and maybe like a running back, and you get like CeeDee Lamb and like a worse running back. Like maybe you might have to do that to get CeeDee Lamb, depending on how the owner of CeeDee Lamb's doing. If you can get a dude like Devontae Adams right now, who I think people are hype about him and hype about what it could be, but I still think people are realistic and they know that St. Brown is probably ranked above him. But I think it's possible that they maybe match each other's production rest of the season. But you can probably get a piece with Adams, is why I'm mentioning Adams. So, yeah, if you want to tier down and get like a wide receiver 2, like, wide receiver ranked from 10 to 24, you can get a piece with it. While if you want to rank up and get like a CeeDee Lamb or a Chase or a who else? A Justin Jefferson, you'll have to give up a piece. So see what you can do, see what you can swing. It all depends on who has those players, whether they're losing, whether they're winning. Let me know down in the comments if you guys do have questions about, trades. I would love to help you guys out, help you construct some trades if you want to share your league info with me or your team info or whatever. Send me your social security number, your Bitcoin as well. You could do any of that. I'll be happy to take it. Yeah, man. I'm just joking, by the way. Do not send me your fucking info. I don't want any of that stuff. But that does it for the video, bro. These are my panic players. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. A like would really help support the channel. It would show me your appreciation. And if you're new here, hit me with a subscribe. It would be the best way to show support. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.